get those goosebumps every time. I'm around, cause I'm on to make everything feel fine. Really love this one. I get those goosebumps every time. I need the high, throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time, yeah. When you're not around, we can throw that to the side. I get those goosebumps every time.
Up the Mags.
Yes, sir.
Yeah!
Get in!
Come on!
Come on!
We're back, baby.
Get in!
Get in there.
Why are we so happy?
Cheers, people.
Where's my mouse gone? This is why. We're back at Wembley. Back at Wembley for another League Cup final. Bring it on. Bring it on. What a performance, lads. What a performance tonight. Welcome to Loaded Mag NUFC. This is an instant reaction to Newcastle versus Arsenal, second leg in the Carabao Cup semi-final. Chris, how are you? And there's your shades.
Yes, I noticed I was missing out there. No, me, I'm ecstatic. I'm absolutely ecstatic. My only frustration this evening, my only slight frustration is the fact that I seen earlier on today Newcastle were 3-1 to win the game today. And you know what? Apart from a mini wobble on the train home from London yesterday, a mini wobble, I was convinced, particularly after that Fulham performance, I was thinking we're there, and rightly or wrongly, we're saving it. We're saving it for tonight. We're saving it for tonight. And my, did we put a performance on tonight? So I'm a little bit frustrated at that because I should have gone all in on it. But absolutely delighted, mate. So pleased. Wembley back again. I'm just buzzing, and now I can't wait. I can't wait to fast forward now, like 22 hours, watch that Tottenham Liverpool game and see who we end up playing. But yeah, I'm absolutely delighted, mate. Absolutely buzzing. It's fantastic for the lads. Made up for them. Great performance. And as I said to you earlier, I don't think Mikel Arteta's got one thing to complain about tonight, because his boys took a hammering. They took a hammering. They got
one hell of a beat. They did.
Pete, how you doing, mate?
Pete,
I've just been doing this since the final whistle went. Get in there. Massive win. Cannot tell you how happy I am tonight. Absolutely superb performance. When these boys need to put a performance in, they know how to put a performance in, and they know how to rise to the occasion. They did exactly that tonight. Absolutely, my words, flawless, absolutely flawless performance from Newcastle United. Every single one of those players can hold their heads up high that they contributed to us going to Wembley. What a fantastic way to go there. Completely dismantled any nerves that any Newcastle fan would have had going into St. James's Park tonight. Dismantled them with that performance, and I could not be happier right now. Absolutely buzzing. And to do it to that Arsenal team, after what they did to Man City on Sunday, and all the talk in the media, they're going to come, they're going to score goals, clean sheet, maybe 1 or 2 on target, light work for Dubravka, superb defending. Get in there.
Get in there as well. I'm going to come to you in a second, Chris, but I'm just going to answer my own question. How am I? I am good as well. More than good, because we're back in the final. And as you say, Chris, just looking forward to it, sitting down, relaxing, watching that game tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Whoever we get, we get. We can't do anything about it. And as Pete, as you said, when we need a performance from these boys, they can deliver. So they didn't turn up at the last League Cup final. They're going to turn up at this next one. Chris, I'm going to come to you because I think you have some news for us.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. I was going to say que sera, based on what you were saying there, Zaz. So couple of quick shout outs. Mike Gent, member for 37 months, just over 3 years. Nice, Mike, thank you very much for the support as always, mate. And Mike says, tell me ma, I won't be home for tea, lads. We definitely won't be, Mike. We are not going to be home for tea, mate. We're not. which we're very, very happy about. Tyson, mate, thank you as always for the super chat. Much appreciated, mate. Get in,
Cheers,
lads.
Tyson.
Absolutely, fella. Absolutely. And Bobby, thank you so much, mate. No one to celebrate
Cheers,
with
Bobby.
here in France. So thanks for being here, guys. Sven Botman is a beast, enough said. And we're going to probably move on to Sven Botman a bit later, I'm sure, because he was colossal tonight. But yeah, thank you, Bobby. And great point, mate. Great point.
100% agree with that. Boys, let's run through the game a bit. Right, I'll try and do it with the sunglasses on. Right, okay. Here's the team news. First of all, a lot of kind of question marks when the team news dropped. There was a big question mark over Joe Linton when he was going around with the knee brace there the last few days. But is it a 5-2-3-1? Is it a 4-3-3? I think that was answered to a kickoff with Hall moving into midfield, and it wasn't so much 5 at the back. At times, maybe, but no, Hall was kind of more playing in midfield. But lads, what your thoughts on the selection from Eddie?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I was a little bit surprised, but I don't know why. Because when you're missing one of your 3 men in the middle, Joe Linton obviously out this evening. I had a sneaky feeling he might have been all right. I said that to you boys, didn't I? I didn't know whether the whole leg brace was just an act. I mean, it did make me laugh, the way obviously Joe Linton had those pictures pre-prepared, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh look, zoom in, he's got a leg brace on. So I didn't know whether there was a little bit of gamesmanship going on there. And obviously Eddie said not 100%. We'll see what happens. So I didn't know whether there's some gamesmanship there, but yeah, I don't know why I was so surprised really by the 5-2-3, because it made sense for 2 reasons for me. The first is that if Joe Linton's out, rather than trying to shoehorn someone in to replace him, why not just drop to a 2 and get an extra centre back in there, which is exactly what we did. And the second reason being as well, boys, we had a 2-0 lead. We had the 2-0 lead to look after. Arsenal had to come at us. So why not, as I say, put that extra centre back in? And it turns out it was a masterstroke. I think the commentator described it as an Eddie Howe masterpiece. And I couldn't agree more with the way that the game turned out. But yeah, delighted Sven Botman was back in. Great to see him. Great to see him start. Great to see him play. And in the end, I think it was a really, really good move by Eddie Howe. So yeah, when we were discussing it in the WhatsApp chat, I was like, yeah, do you know what? It makes perfect sense, and I think it was a good move.
Pete, your thoughts on the team news? I think you were a bit nervous when you saw it dropping.
You have to be when you're at home 5 at the back, because it gives you the emphasis that you're going to be doing a lot of defending. And so for that point of view, you're thinking to yourself, well, you want to attack them because you want to get the first goal. But what I will say is Eddie Howe has produced another masterclass on Mikel Arteta again. And it's becoming a regular occurrence for Newcastle United to do that. And the fact that he's pulled out that masterclass, and there's a couple of reasons for it. Not only the back three were absolutely superb in every element in what they did today. They were the pillars of why we won the game the way we did. But I have to say, if you want a different style of play, Bruno Tonali double pivot is absolutely a go for Newcastle United moving forward. Yeah. There's no reason why that cannot be a formation moving forward, because that double pivot worked absolutely to perfection. Those boys have just got something in sync that is just like nothing that I've seen from a Newcastle midfield before. And the way they dominated that midfield that had 3 Arsenal players in, by the way, 3 Arsenal players up against 2. And those boys dominated because they were absolutely superb in everything that they did. Shaw coming out and being the 3rd man in midfield to press high. I'm sure we'll talk about that for one of the goals. It was an absolute Eddie Howe masterclass. And for anyone that questions Eddie Howe and questions his ability, what he does, he flips it on his head and he proves that he is more than good enough to hang with these top managers in the Premier League. Arsenal, credit to Arsenal, they got absolutely battered tonight, but credit to them. They're the 2nd best team in the Premier League this season and will probably go on to achieve that. So it cannot be it can't be like sort of slanted at is not a big deal. This Arsenal team have got some very, very good players in, but we've made them look ordinary tonight. And Eddie Howe has made Arsenal's manager look extremely ordinary, not for the first time this season, in fact, the third time this season. And yeah, it's an absolute pleasure to watch, and was a pleasure to watch unfold from a tactical point of view. So yeah, some reservations about the back five. I think a lot of people did. I wasn't the only one. But Eddie Howe is certainly proven that he knows how to handle that situation. Superb stuff.
Just to Pete, just to add in, just to touch on what you've just said there, because it was a really good point. Putting Bruno and Tonali together in that double pivot, it almost makes you think, doesn't it? Because they're playing so close together, they both know the job. The fact that you know, and I'm not downplaying Joe Linton here whatsoever, it just felt a lot more compact and organised. You know, the two of them playing so closely together, both knowing what the roles were, both knowing that they're up against a three. You wonder whether that kind of formation, as you've just said, could be a goer going forward. Because yes, you're relying on your wing backs to get up and down, but we know our wing backs can do that. But we just looked a lot more solid in the centre, didn't we? That's certainly how it came across to me. And I thought, considering we were one man down or one man shy in midfield, we didn't half dominate that midfield Arsenal three. And as you say, we're not talking about an average team or a poor team. We're talking about a really, really good Arsenal team who did the number on Man City at the weekend. And we were absolutely flawless today in the midfield.
Chris, Arsenal were not prepared for what we gave them tonight.
No.
They had prepared for a Newcastle United 4-3-3 standard practice. I think that formation has thrown them, and I've got the tactical. We can come back to it if we have time later on, because I'll just explain from my perspective of what I watched on how that midfield was so effective. But ultimately, those boys just knew their jobs, and their jobs were to be emphasised in a very tight space within the pitch. We know these boys can run all day for Newcastle United. They can cover every blade of grass. I think Bruno's ran more than any player in the Premier League this season. So we know it can happen. But what they did and how they executed it was absolutely superb. And it's not just them. You know, we've got to big up the wing backs in this, in terms of their job, and as well Murphy and Gordon, because they played their part too in various different ways. But that midfield pivot, I was so impressed with that, because we haven't seen it before. And now we've seen it, I'm thinking, anyone that's questioning Newcastle United and Eddie Howe with a plan B, there's your plan B. That's what you saw tonight. And that is the absolute effect that a plan B can produce. And this is why you need quality players. You mentioned, Chris, really quickly, just my last point. You mentioned, Chris, about Joe Linton. And Joe Linton is a workhorse, there's no doubt about it. And we absolutely love him. But what you've got in that midfield are two players, are two technicians that are extremely good on the ball. One-touch football. One touch, get the ball, one touch, play out. No one could get close to them at times today. And it's because they've got an in-sync understanding. Joe Linton doesn't quite have that, particularly with the ball at his feet. And I think that's the only element of him that lets him down. But you know, we missed him for his battling and work rate abilities. But I tell you what, other players on the pitch tonight made up for Joe Linton's work rate and battling capabilities. And look, I'm sure we'll all touch on them moving forward. But yeah, just superb stuff.
Let's get into it, boys. And as Pete says, now we have a plan B, and we know plan C is 5-5-0. So we have 3 plans now going forward under Eddie Howe. And long may that continue. Right, let's get into the game, boys. And yes, another thing. Smash that like button. We're not on here at 10:30 at night wearing shades for no reason. We want your likes. So smash that like button. There's people streaming them into the chat as it heads towards 200. But let's get through the game, boys. After 5 minutes, Isak had the ball in the net. VAR check was disallowed for offside. Offside for you guys. It did show it on the TV, the line. We can't argue with that, I guess.
Yeah, it was funny because when they showed the replay, and obviously they slow it down, don't they? I'm stood in front of the telly and I'm like that. I'm looking, trying to desperately see the line, and weirdly they didn't show the line, and I was thinking, hang on a minute, is there a little bit of corruption going on here? Where's the line? They always show the line. They did show the line later on, But in the initial decision, they didn't show the line. And then weirdly, I completely forgot because obviously in the first leg we didn't see it. The referee then starts talking on the mic, and I was saying to Lisa and Callum, I was like, "Shh, what are everybody saying? What are everybody saying?" I forgot that was in place because in that first leg it was in place, but there wasn't an incident to talk about. So that was interesting. But yeah, mate, I felt so sorry for Isaac because that finish, man. He's just, when he's in front of goal, 15, 20 yards out, and he puts his laces through it. I struggle to see any keeper stopping it. He hits it with that much power, that much venom. I just felt so sorry for him because it was a brilliant finish. I'm banging on the kitchen door saying Wembley, just screaming Wembley. Because I getting the first goal tonight was so important. And when obviously it was so early on, I was thinking brilliant, and then obviously it got ruled out, so I felt a bit stupid. But yeah, disappointing, but brilliant finish, and he's just unbelievable. Alexander Isak is unbelievable.
I'm gonna rock on, and I'm gonna go to Pete for the actual goal in a sec. So yeah, because the next thing I wrote down was Botman is a rock at the back, and you go, that was early on in the game with that, but it was evident right through the game. But on 18 minutes, Odegaard had a massive chance. He was right in front of goal there, and he should have buried that, and it would have made it very interesting. But 1 minute later, Isak wins a header, goes to Gordon. Gordon hits it back to Isak. Isak with an unbelievable shot where he hits the post. The rebound falls to that man, Jacob Murphy, and Jacob Murphy puts it in the back of the net. Cue the celebration from Murphy, and Newcastle are 3-0 up on aggregate, 1-0 on the night, 3-0 on aggregate at this stage. Pete, your thoughts on that goal from Murphy?
It's a stunning goal, and I was rocked a little bit by the fact that the first one didn't count, but I was confident that we'd get another chance because it was almost sort of wave after wave on that counter, and we looked so dangerous. But look, the centre forward play from Isak is absolutely superb. You know, this is what we're seeing. What we saw in that goal from Isak is what we hadn't seen previously in previous seasons, and where he's developed his game so good. He's coming up against arguably the two strongest centre-backs, not just in the Premier League, in Europe, as a collective. But the fact that ball gets pumped long and he's muscled his way off, I think it's Saliba at the time, to get his foot in front of him, and he's clearly in front of him, to flick that ball into Gordon's path. Gordon then flicks it back to him. He just plays it with a bit of pace into him. He just uses his body just to navigate the ball forward. But the shot, it's not an easy. He had the tightest of angles, and it's literally underneath his feet. The fact that he's had to get out of his feet and hit it the way he hit it, it was a superb strike. Someone lucky not to score himself. But I have to say, boys, the finish, the technique from Murphy to score that goal. Some people may not have seen it, but I was stunned it went in, because the way the ball's come off the bar and it's going away from goal, he's had to wrap his foot round it, keep the ball down because it's bobbling, it's bouncing at a difficult height. He's managed to keep it down as it's going away from goal and navigate it towards goal and manage to find the net. Watch it back. It is not easy. It really isn't an easy finish. He made it look easy. And I just thought it was absolutely superb from Murphy. And I'll be honest, boys, there was absolute carnage in the house, going absolutely mad. But it was more so of relief because we needed the first goal. We needed the first goal. We got the first goal. And I just thought, right, we're massively in the driving seat right now at this point. Yeah. And you could see the reaction. You watch the goal back. You look at some of the players and you just think that you see some of the Arsenal players heads down. They knew at that point when that ball went into the back of the net with Murphy, they were kind of hoping, they were praying there was an offside. They were almost looking to the linesman. They got nothing. Heads dropped. At that point, they knew in their minds, in their heart of hearts, they knew they were not getting back in that game.
Yeah, totally agree, mate.
Chris, your thoughts on Murphy's goal and the build up to it?
Mate, brilliant. as Peter's described it perfectly. Absolutely brilliant. And I tell you what, boys, I don't know how many times you saw the replay. You know, when you watch it from a particular angle, where Alexander Isak hits it, right? It's nowhere near on target, but he puts that much bend, that much curve on it. It just bends in. It's just a great shot. It's a great shot. Unlucky, obviously hitting the post. And Jacob Murphy's still got a lot to do. He's got a hell of a lot to do. And you know what? When I watched it back, I was like, oh, because it literally goes in off the post, doesn't it? But the technique, he's on his toes. He's ready for it. Great finish. And as Pete rightly said, you know, getting that first goal was so important. And so as soon as it went 1-0, I'm not going to lie, boys, I pretty much thought it was done. I pretty much thought it was done at that point. I knew how important that first goal was, because then for Arsenal to get free at St James's Park with the crowd absolutely bouncing was always going to be a big ask. It was always going to be a big ask. But if Arsenal were to get that first goal, I think the stadium would have been nervous. I think the players would have been nervous. I think it would have had a real detriment to the team. But yeah, getting that first goal was key. And by the way, we thoroughly deserved it as well. Thoroughly deserved it. So yeah, made up.
I just had a thought. I'm looking forward to going to work to the office tomorrow and rubbing it into all the Arsenal fans. Yeah. See you there, boys. Right, 22 minutes. Dubs makes a save from Trossard. And then this is about the 40-minute mark. I wrote this down, and it's what Pete has actually said there. He says, as the game progresses, Arsenal start to lose their heads. They're picking up a few yellow cards in at this stage. But it goes to half time, and it's 1-0 on the night, 3-0 in aggregate at half time. We're not done yet, though. Go over it, Chris.
Mate, I've got one thing to say on the halftime whistle. So my takeaway from that halftime, obviously brilliant goal. Isak really disappointed. You know, I'm disappointed for Isak for his goal to be chalked off. But I've got to say, boys, and you'll remember, I've been critical. I've been critical of the Newcastle board for not accepting that Kieran Trippier offer when Bayern come in with the money. Right, I've been very critical, and I tell you what, that first half from Kieran Trippier, I was there for it. I was absolutely there for it. And it continues a little bit into the second half, but the first half particularly, he was getting in everyone's face. He was constantly, that is the epitome of shithousery. He kept, who was it he done it to? He got Kai Havertz booked, basically.
Trossard as well.
Yeah, he done it to Trossard. He done it to Kai Havertz, and there was a moment in the far right of the pitch. I'm trying to think who it was. It was Gabriel. And he comes up behind him far too he bundles him over when there's no need to. Absolutely no need to. And Gabriel gets up fuming, and you can just see Trippier just right in his face talking to him, and you just know that he's just winding him up because he knows if Gabriel loses his head, then Arsenal are in big trouble. Because he's capable of lashing out, or he makes it a physical battle rather than a technical one, and his game goes to pot. Kieran Trippier, from a leadership point of view, was absolutely outstanding, and he didn't put a foot wrong in the game either. By the way, he towed that line ever so carefully, and it gave us the advantage. And he was even doing it towards the end. I think you mentioned with Trossard, Daz. He done it with Lewis Skelly. He done it with Declan Rice. He was just going around the Arsenal team, just causing chaos. Just causing absolute chaos, and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I've said to you boys for a while now, and I've said it on this channel a lot. Tino Livramento is the future, but when Kieran Trippier is playing like that, when Kieran Trippier is giving everything for the cause, it's hard to not want him in the team, because I just thought he was outstanding today. I really, really did.
He was in fairness. Sticking with you, Chris, I'm going to bring this up on screen.
Yes. Marcus Villanova, I love it, mate. Thank you so much for the super chat. Much appreciated. Let's go, boys. So stoked to be going back to Wembley. Love the show from a fan in New Jersey. Top man. New
Jersey. We've got people from all around the world tuning in tonight, celebrating, and more to catch it on playback as well. More that was at the match. I'm sure that will come in from the match tomorrow and watch this back. But let's carry on, boys, because into the second half, we're 45 minutes from Wembley at this stage. On 48 minutes, Gordon robbed the ball from Saliba. Oh, this is class. And he had a shot from this distance, but he puts it wide. He just tried to bend it. Raya was nearly got to it if he had put it a bit closer to him, but Isak wasn't in an offside position, so he couldn't pass to him. But just went wide to the post. Unlucky on that occasion.
Mate, but again, he should have just ran towards goal, shouldn't he? He should have just ran to. I was screaming, just run towards the goal, just run towards the goal. But you can see why he's took the shot on, because Ray is way off his line. And I think he's to his left, so Gordon's right. So there's a big gap. So you can see why he's took the shot on. But when you think afterwards, if you ran towards the goal, it was a certain goal, because all you had to do was just round Raya. But I think the rush of blood to the head, exciting. If you saw that big gap as a professional footballer, you're taking the shot, aren't you? Let's be honest, you are taking the shot.
I thought he did the right thing, lads.
I think so.
Yeah, I actually think he did the right thing. He just didn't execute it right. And the shot was more. It was more sort of like a side foot hit. So he's almost hit it with a side foot, and he's almost tried to curl it in. If it have almost kind of caressed the ball and hit underneath it to try and chip the goalkeeper's well out of goal. If he gets enough height on it, he beats the goalkeeper for height. And if he aims for the middle of the goal, it just kind of trickles in. But look, it's a heat of the moment. I mean, Isak was going mad at him, saying, "Give me the ball," but Isak was probably in an offside position, so he did the right thing there.
Defo off, mate.
But look, it's the heat of the moment. He's took a touch, he's won it back, and he's just tried to lash it towards goal, and it was only just wide. But he did the right thing, because I watched the replay from behind the goal. If it had tried to run it, and he's quick, but those centre backs are quite quick as well, I do think they would probably got back in and made it difficult for him. And the route he was running in on goal was almost towards where Raya was, and the angle just didn't seem right. But he took the shot. I think it was the right thing, but he should have just tried to chip the goalkeeper. But yeah, boys, I've got to say it now. I'll say it now. I have never, ever, in the last 3.5 years, seen Gabriel and Saliba get absolutely rattled by any team. I'm talking Man City. I'm talking Liverpool. I'm talking the top teams in Europe when they've played in European competitions. I have never, ever seen. They're arguably being lauded as the best centre-back pairing in Europe, and quite rightly, because they've been brilliant. But I have to say, it wasn't just Isak that absolutely pummeled them today. They were panicky on the ball. Yeah. They were giving the ball away easily. They were losing aerial duels. They were losing ground duels. They were all over the place. That's us. That's what we did today. That's what we did. No other team has done that to that back line, to that centre back pairing. That's a pummeling today, an absolute pummeling. I had to say it, pummeling.
And continuing on in that fashion, on 51 minutes, Gordon robs the ball again. A pass from Rice under pressure, but this time he slots it home. Cue the celebrations from Gordon as we make it 2-0, 4-0 on aggregate. Here's the celebration from Gordon. Here's our own little celebration from Gordon. Boom. And we have to play the little tune. He's a miracle. Right, Chris, we're going to get to your thoughts. And he borrows a scarf as well in the celebration. I love that. Nice little touch. But your thoughts on Gordon's goal there, Chris?
Yeah, really, really clever thinking, quick thinking, opportunistic. It was. Do you know what? It reminded me a little bit of the chance he missed. In that, as soon as he hit it, I was like, no, don't hit it. But he executed it perfectly. Really, really smart goal. Obviously capitalising on a mistake. Fabian Schär was pressing on the 12-yard box. Fabian Schär, it was like watching AC Milan all over again. It was like, why are you there? What are you doing? But no, brilliant press. Fabian Schär obviously putting pressure. Why Arsenal were playing from the back, I really don't know. I don't know. And by the way, just to add in as well, just while I think of it now, how many times did David Raya have the ball? You know, when the ball got played back to David Raya, and he was like taking his time. He was mulling over, like, "Oh, where shall I play it? What shall I do?" And it's like, mate, you're losing 4-0 on aggregate. You might want to get moving. You might want to get the ball out. And all it did was just allow Newcastle.
Just short of some steps. He was just short of some step overs. That's all he was missing.
Mate, it was insanity. If I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be thinking, "What are you doing? Get the ball out and get going." But it was like Arsenal were 4-0 up. The way he was playing was like Arsenal were 4-0 up. Very, very bizarre. But no, back to the goal. Just really, I love the Newcastle United press. When the Newcastle United press is on point, which it was today, it's just a joy. It's just a joy. And when teams want to try and play out from the back, it's just like, bring it on, and we'll just press fuck out of you. That's what we'll do. And Fabian Schär just epitomised it. Pushes forward, nicks the ball straight to Gordon, and as I say, he hits it, and I'm like, no, don't hit it, and then goes in the back of the net. Really, really good finish. And then I knew then, boys, it was definitely over. It was definitely over. As soon as that ball at the back of the net, 2-0, 4-0, end of, get me to Wembley.
Get you to Wembley, and you're going. You're going. You might have a partner to go with you. We are going. Ooh. Pete, your thoughts on... we'll get more of that later. Pete, your thoughts on Gordon's goal?
From the messages I've got tonight, I think we might have a crowd, mate. I'm not going to lie. I think there's going to be a team of his. The old boys, Chris and Lowell. I think might be travel down. Could be a historic, messy day. That is for sure. But look, it's just brilliant work all round. Like you said, Raya tippy-tapping all day with the ball. It plays it out, and it's, you know what? A person that's been on this channel and hasn't been on for a while, Sean Casey has mentioned it time and time again about Declan Rice. And that he can't turn on with the ball.
Oh, mate.
He's mentioned it so many times, and nobody's really kind of taken any notice of it. But you watch it tonight, and it's very, very clear on more than one occasion. By the way,
Pete. Just to add, he was rattled at the end. He was raging. He was just going through. Everyone was. How did you not get a yellow at the end? How was that? I thought it was a red at one point. Didn't even get a yellow.
The ref has felt sorry for him. Declan Rice's head was on Mars today, absolutely on Mars. He was all over the shop, and he's got the ball back to goal. Had no idea what's coming towards him. Schär, brilliant stuff. He must have travelled like 40, 50 yards up the pitch to try and win that ball, and that is the mentality of the players. I've questioned the mentality of the players, particularly on Saturday. After that performance of Fulham, you cannot question the mentality of the players today. They were giving everything to the cause, and it's a brilliant win. And I have to say, it's an impressive finish from Gordon. When you watch the replay from behind the goal, he hasn't got a lot to work with. He takes the touch, and he's manoeuvring him, trying to say to him, go in that corner because I'm prepared for it. And he just uses the eyes and just whips it into the fog, into the near corner. He's got literally like that much to work with. He hasn't got a lot, and he manages to just miss Ray's foot, and he just nestles in that corner. And I tell you what, the roof went off in St. James's Park, and it certainly did here. Back in Leicester, and it was just absolute scenes at that point. And just while we're here, big shout out to St. James's Park. Been questioned a lot recently about its atmosphere, and maybe rightly so, because the atmospheres haven't been good. We've talked about it on this channel. Other people on socials who have been to the game, some people in the chat on Saturday said the same about the Fulham game. But I tell you what, that 52,000 plus turned up today, and they were absolutely the 12th and the 13th man. It's a fair place, and that place erupted when it went in, because everybody knew at that point Wembley Wembley was beckoning at that point. Come on, get in there.
You're right, Pete. War flags were class as well. Blue hat and with the tune beforehand as well, and yeah. But there was one thing. There was one of these.
That's a loaded question, isn't it?
There was a loaded question going around St. James's Park, and the question was there something wrong with the ball? Was that the reason why Arsenal were playing so shit? But I don't believe anything was wrong with the ball. Hey, go ahead. Right, let's move on. Subs then came on 79 minutes. Murphy off, Willock on, Botman off, Krafku on, and linking back to what you just said earlier, Chris. Rice, he had to let off some steam as he goes, as it starts to boil over on him. He left a bit in on Tonali, he left a bit in on Bruno, and yeah, the ref felt sorry for him in the end. I must have saw that clip of him waking up in the sunbed or bath or whatever it was, that old clip of Rice. Anyway, 86 minutes. Tonali off, Longstaff on, then Isak off, Wilson on, 90th minute. Bruno, who was on a yellow card, off, Miley on. Done and dusted. 2-0 on the night, 4-0 on aggregate. Off we go to Wembley, boys. Off we go. Any thoughts? Any other thoughts on the game or anything you want to reflect on?
Just a short summary from me, really. You know, I could probably list all the players. I thought all the players played their part today. You know, from Martin Dubravka all the way up to Alexander Isak, all of them played the part. They really, really did. I mean, to give you some standouts, I think the three standouts for me today were Alexander Isak. It's even difficult picking my top three. Alexander Isak, I thought Lewis Hall was outstanding, and I've got to give a shout out to Sven Botman. You know, he got dragged a couple of games ago at half time. Mainly, I think, to look after them more than anything. But he's come back in today and just looked like the Rolls Royce that we know he is. So many good performances. Oh, do you know what? I missed out Kevin Trippier as well. Kevin Trippier, absolutely brilliant. It was just a magnificent performance. And I just hope, boys, I'm now hoping and praying. You know, that Fulham game was so disappointing, and unfortunately, we've had 3 or 4 games like that this season where it just feels like we've not been quite at it. But tonight, we were absolutely at it, and I thought we were to a man. We were absolutely brilliant, and I just hope now that the boys have booked. They've booked the cup final day, Sunday the 16th of March. They've booked it now. All focus back on the Premier League. Let's put a run together. We've got a hell of a run coming up. We've got some really difficult games coming up. I think the next game after Birmingham at the weekend is Man City. Yeah. Let's go to Man City and bend them over. That's what we need to do. Put a statement out. Really, you know, put your flag in the ground and say we are here and we want Champions League football. That's what we need to do. We've done the hard work now. We've got ourselves to a final. We can sit back, relax, watch the other semi-final tomorrow, find out who we're playing, but then all focus after the Birmingham game, where I'm expecting we'll rest some players. All focus has to be on that Man City game. It's got to be on that Man City game. I want us to go to the Etihad and I want us to get 3 points. I just... As happy as I am tonight, and it was so important we got to the final, there was a tinge of disappointment as well, because I was thinking, where was this against Fulham? Where was this against Bournemouth? Where was this against Brighton? I want us to really kick on from now till May. Let's just put it in 110% every game, and who knows where we can go. But yeah, brilliant performance tonight, absolutely made up. And I tell you what, boys, I like this 5-2-3. I like it.
I'm going to give you my 3 as well, Chris. For me, top of the list is Botman. I just thought he was a rock at the back, and just made the difference. And every time the ball came in, he was there. Trips, I thought was class as well. And for my third, it's everyone else, because I thought everyone played well as well, including Dubs going down, doing the Pope trick, going down. Even though he did get someone stood in his foot. I think it was Bruno or no, it was Botman that stood in his foot, I think. But yeah, no, he was doing a bit of the old shithousery as well. But that was my three.
Did anyone else panic when you saw Nick? No offense to Nick Pope. Saw Nick Pope warming up and Martin Dubravka's on the floor grabbing his leg. I was just thinking to myself, please be a load of shit. Please be a load of shit. We need Martin Dubravka to stay in between those sticks.
That arc has changed. And yeah, how bad would it be if he missed the final?
Mate, I just honestly, yeah. And then at the end, I don't know if you remember. Sorry, Pete. At the very, very end, the ball was going out for an Arsenal corner, and Dubravka tried to keep it in, and he done like this acrobatic kick, and I was like, "No, he's sad. He's absolutely sad. It's fine. Panic over." Sorry, Pete.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Go for it. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, boys, but a couple of injury updates. Sven Botman's got a knee problem that we need to. Eddie Howe said he needs to have a look at, and Joe Linton's going to be out for weeks. Apparently, he's going to miss at least the next few league games, so that's not including the cup.
Okay.
So he might be touch and go for the cup final, which is not good news. They're the only two pieces of updates. But look, hey, you know what? It's hard to pick out many players, like individual players from this team. It really is, because I thought everyone was superb today. I thought, I mentioned maybe back in, I think it was either the Tottenham game or the Arsenal game. I think it was the Arsenal game, the first leg, where I said I thought that was probably Gordon's best game for the club. That one for me tonight was Gordon's best game for the club. I thought it was absolutely sensational tonight. I really, really did. This boy knows how to turn up for the big games. For the big games against the best teams, he knows how to play against these boys. And deservedly got his goal. His link up with Isak is so good. We laud Murphy for it, but it was Gordon and Isak today that linked up so well together. But look, Botman, for obvious reasons, I thought he was flawless. I did see him kind of wince a little bit just about 5 minutes before he came off. So I thought he was carrying something. So I hope it's nothing serious and just a little knock. But I thought he was absolutely flawless. I thought Burn was absolutely superb, particularly in the first half, because I said to you boys, I thought Lewis Hall was getting beat far too easily on that left-hand side in the first half. But Burns covering in that position when he was getting beat by his man, whether it's Martinelli or Wanyeri down that side, Burns covering was absolutely brilliant, and he did a really, really good, brilliant job for the team. But for me, and Chris, you've already touched on him today, this is why we cannot sell Kieran Trippier, because that boy today just rolled back the years. He rolled back the years of what we saw at his absolute best. I could see in his games up until sort of more recently when he hasn't really been playing, but you could see that his mindset was back. In that run over December into January, you could see that there was a different mentality to him. He seemed a lot more settled, but tonight was the performance. And it weren't for the shithousery. I loved it. Of course I did. But you know what? His leadership, his composure on the ball. This is why it's an Eddie Howe masterclass, because he made changes that other people probably wouldn't have made. Tilo Livramento hasn't been bad. He's been maybe indifferent in some games, but he hasn't been bad. He hasn't been maybe drop worthy, but Eddie Howe knew that he needed Trippier for this game, and Trippier has stood up to the test of Arsenal and absolutely outplayed them, outsmarted them. He's done everything. His control, his calmness in possession, the way he's talking to the players. I love the shithousery because he's getting in and he's leaving one on them, and he's not letting them go, and he's kind of like, he could walk off, but he's not, and he's backing into them and he's winding them up. But at the same time, he's pushing the likes of Botman and Shaw away, going, no, I'll do it. Leave it to me. I'll sort it. And it was almost like it was almost like that flick of a switch from Atletico Madrid has come back, and he's programmed into Simeone style, and he's gone, right, yeah, I know how to handle these games. And you need players like that. Those players are like absolute gold dust. They're like gold dust. And I don't care if he's 35, 36, 37, 38. You can never not have players like that in your team. And with a team like we are that are aspiring to be better, our boys need to learn from players like Kieran Trippier. And you could see at the end of the game, Bruno goes up to him as the captain and gives him the biggest hug, and he lifts him up in the air, and he's talking to him, and he's like, you can see the appreciation. Bruno as the captain's learning from Trippier. And I think Trippier's got the frustration of losing the captaincy aside now, and he's helping him and he's guiding him. And it can only be a good thing for Bruno. It can only be a good thing for the team, but it's ultimately the best thing for Newcastle United. And absolutely spot on. So for me, Trippier is my man today. He might have not had a say in the big moments, in the goals, and the pressing and everything else, but that guy led this team from right back as he did when we got Champions League football. And if we're playing this formation moving forward, we need him in that team. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely great. Sorry, Chris.
Sorry, Daz. I was just going to say I was on mute before, but I was echoing exactly what you were saying, Pete. It's that big game mentality. It's that experience, and you're right, bringing it from La Liga under Simeone. Like, we haven't seen that from him for a while, but it was like he was programmed in tonight. He was in the zone, and he executed it perfectly, absolutely perfectly, and not just the shithousery, but like you say, a top technical performance.
Superb.
Yeah, no, it's great to see him back to his best. It's we've just missed it, and he hasn't been able to show it for so long. But that was definitely trips of old. So let that continue, and then let Tino and him battle it out as well. Great to have that experience with us in the team, boys. I know we're going to sit and watch, but we'll go to a few questions in a second. But no, we're going to sit and watch the game tomorrow. But if you had a choice,
well, funny you say that, Daz, because that's exactly what Friday 81 asks. Do we want Spurs or Liverpool in the final? I think we beat both. But go on, Pete, kick us off, mate.
I'll be honest. I think we can beat both. I'm not overly precious on it for a couple of reasons. I think if we get Liverpool, we go in as the underdogs. I think that fits us quite nicely going into that game. I think we've got the beating of Liverpool. Although we've not beaten them yet, I think we're close to finding that remedy. Isaac certainly got the beating of Van Dijk, which is the key to winning this game. Have you got the beating of their best player, which for me is Van Dijk, alongside Mo Salah? That for me is key. But with Tottenham, can we beat Tottenham?
Absolutely.
But there's an added pressure there, and whether our fans want to think about it or not, there is. Because with Tottenham in the final, there is not an underdog feeling. There's an expectation that we go and win that game. Now, we cannot underestimate Tottenham Hotspur, because Tottenham Hotspur and the team that we beat at the beginning of this month or last month, beginning of January, won't necessarily be the same team that we play in the final. They'll have a lot of their big hitters back fit and ready. Can we beat them with their big hitters? Absolutely. But what it is that I don't want it to be that mentality that, oh yeah, we're expected to win. We'll beat Tottenham easily, because they are a side that scores a lot of goals, that can be good on their day and be a team that can win a game. And I think it'll be a lot tighter than we think it might be. I haven't got a preference. Or have I got a preference? Okay, I'll be honest. I maybe have a slight preference to Tottenham. But do I think we can beat both in one game, 90 plus minutes? Absolutely. So I'll lean with Tottenham.
Chris, I think you want to go last here. Yeah, I think you want to go last, Chris, on this. But I'll go straight in. I want Spurs. And I was thinking about during the game. I was thinking back to the FA Cup finals. I can't remember which one was first. Was it the man who got beaten by Man United in the FA Cup final, and then was it the year after, or a year or two after, we got beaten by Arsenal? And they were the big two at the time. Liverpool and Man United, they're always like the big two, let's say, the big two, biggest clubs, let's say. So that's why I think we'll do Spurs. But again, Spurs have brought in a few players as well. They are going for the treble after all as well, and just I just think it'd be a bit of fun as well. Did Deji come on pre-show, pre the game, and shaking his bum, and you know what he's like. Eddie knows what he's like. So yeah, it would just be a bit of fun as well. I think the viewers would like that. But no, I want Spurs. I think we can do Spurs. At least I hope so. Chris.
Oh, we've got a bit of loyalty in the chat, boys. Mr. Keith Patterson.
Oh, we're not worthy. We're not worthy, Sir Keith.
Hope you're well, Keith. Hope you're good, mate. And hopefully we might see you down at Wembley. Hopefully so. Yeah, do you know what? I think you're all expecting me to say Liverpool, but boys, you know I'm a betting man. You know I'm a betting man. I want Tottenham. I want Tottenham because, but you know what, Pete? Brilliant point. The expectation is a lot different if it's Tottenham. Even the neutrals will say, oh, well, it's Newcastle's to lose. Newcastle have got to win. Surely Newcastle will beat Tottenham. And that brings a different expectation because in recent years, we've been very successful against Tottenham. And I think psychologically, not just physically, is in the players and, you know, the fact that, and the manager as well. I think we beat Tottenham manager-wise. We beat Tottenham player-wise. But I think mentally, we've got the upper hand on Tottenham, and that's huge. We know what we've done to Tottenham. We've literally tore Tottenham apart in recent years. I suppose. Ultimately, I want Tottenham, but I'm not going to lie, boys. It would taste all the sweeter if we got Liverpool and we beat them. It would just. I would dine on that for about 10 years, easy. Every single time I see my mates, it would just be reminder. Oh, do you remember the Carabao Cup 2025? Remember that? Oh, it would mean everything. But then the other part of me's thinking it's Liverpool. If Liverpool are anything, they turn up for big games. They know how to win trophies. They're experienced. So I would be a little bit nervous playing Liverpool. But are we capable of doing them? Absolutely. But I think if you were to ask me now, who do you want, and you can pick, I'm picking Tottenham every day. I have to. But we'll see tomorrow. We will see tomorrow.
Yeah, I have the fear of Liverpool, and just again, mates, just that they would just rub it in. So that's why I want to go on Spurs tomorrow night and see them in the final, hopefully.
Yeah,
we'll go for a few more questions. Chris?
Yeah, let's do it, mate. Let's do it. A couple of comments, actually. I started a couple of comments in there. Not many question-wise, but a couple of comments. This one was a great one from Samsonite Dave, who's been a member for 1 month. Samsonite, thank you very much for signing up a month ago, mate. Tiotti's son being mascot 14 years to the day of that goal. Brilliant from the club. Great to see him there. And yeah, it brought back memories when I saw that on X, the picture of him.
And you know what? Since I've done the other little gifts, we might as well do this one.
He's a great age.
Great age. You're right, Eddie.
Love that, mate. Love that. But yeah, couple of comments and a question here. Oh, Lisa, 35 months member, 1 month off 3 years. Love it, Lisa. I'm going to get my suit measured.
Wow.
We're all going to need to get our suit measured, aren't we? We're all going to have to get our suits measured. But hope you are, Lisa. I'm assuming you were at the match tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. Right. This was great. This blew my mind. This stat, boys. I had to star this. Mike Gent. The one stat that stood out for me, boys, out of 125 corners this season, we have conceded 1 goal.
That is amazing.
Incredible, isn't it?
And none of them against Arsenal. who have been formidable. Is why I say it, because they've been formidable with corners. But as Gary Neville said on commentary, everyone else needs to look. Everyone else in the Premier League needs to watch what Newcastle United are doing, because you could see as the second half went on, particularly after the second goal, they had a few more corners after that, and it wasn't this. There wasn't no worry from Newcastle, the players. There wasn't no worry from the fans like there was earlier on in the game, and there was no confidence from the Arsenal players because we had them sussed. We dealt with every corner, and as the game went on, every corner that went in got easier and easier and easier, to the point where they were over trying with their corners and they were just being whipped out for goal kicks on the opposite end. They just kept being whipped out, and our players were just kind of like ducking and just letting it go out for a goal kick. They literally ran out of ideas. And, I was at the game in November at St. James's Park, and it was very much the same. We had that corner set piece situation nailed down to a point. And look, when you've got Byrne, when you've got Cher, and on occasion you've got Botman in there, and you got Joe Linton, who wasn't there today. You got players of that ilk, Isak at the front post. You got big, tall players that can win balls in the air. It's a very, very difficult team to break down. And up until maybe the last 15, 20 minutes, he maybe didn't do it as much. But fair play to Martin Dubravka, that last 10, 13, 14 minutes of the game, that's what you want your goalkeeper to do. He did it particularly well in the first leg towards the end of the game, where he's coming out and he's making punches. Or there was one superb take that he made. I think it was around the 90th minute where it came out
right at the end, mate. Right at the end, brilliant take.
It wasn't really his to win, but he goes out there, he puts himself out there, and he comes out, and not only does he go for it, he fucking collects it, and it's back in his hands, and it's there, and it's secure. Fair play to him, because that's exactly what the defense need. They need to know they've got a guy behind there that's going to command that area. And he didn't always do it, but it's certainly in the last knock-ins, he certainly had the confidence to do it. So fair play to him.
Yeah.
Pete, are you buying a Martin Dubravka jersey in the club shop?
Mate, I can't believe that I'm talking.
I know. I can't believe it either.
Like this. Because in the summer, I was not talking about it. And everyone else in the chat that watches this show regularly will know that I've never, in the last year and a half, talked about Martin Dubravka like this. But as I always say, where credit's due, I will give absolute credit. And look, he was maybe at fault for the goal at Fulham last weekend. But I tell you what, he was absolutely superb today. Made a couple of slightly routine takes. But I thought he was good with his distribution of the ball. I thought he was secure. I thought he was solid. He didn't give Arsenal a whiff at any point. Fair play to him. I thought he was
impressive, mate.
And look, lads, I think Pope will start against Birmingham on Saturday. I think he'll start. That'll be his game. I think a lot of the big boys will get a rest. I think it would have been different if we'd have gone out. But now we're in the final. I think you'll find it'll be a very makeshift team on Saturday. But at Man City, at the Etihad, Dubravka starts.
Yeah,
he's the man to beat.
100%. 100%.
We better beat Birmingham as well. My mate will never let me hear the end of it, especially being on TV as well.
This one, boys, I can't believe we never mentioned it, and I'm really glad that Peter Moyles mentioned it. I forgot. But what a moment. Peter Moyles says Bruno deliberately winding them up with that kick, keepy uppy. It was just like shithousery epitomized, wasn't it? It was just brilliant. He just picks up the ball. He's like, you know what? I'll have a little juggle with it. And you could see all the Arsenal players getting really riled by it. And I think Lewis Skelly was saying something to him afterwards, and Bruno was laughing and joking with him at the far post because the ball was coming into the box. I think it must have been a free kick or throw in or something like that. But yeah, you could tell Lewis Skelly had said something to him like, "There's no need for that," and Bruno's just like, "Do what I want, do what I want."
The first half.
Yeah,
it was the first half. Yeah,
I thought it was in the first half. I was thinking,
brilliant.
What's this guy doing? But no, Lewis Shelley or Skelly, whatever his name is, he wouldn't have been saying to him, "No need for that." He'd have been saying to him, "Please please come and sign for us. We need you. And he'd have been saying to Lewis Skelly, we've got Lewis Hall. We don't need you.
Yeah,
Nice.
I love, by the way, and this is no slant on Lewis Skelly at all, but I love now, I don't know if you boys have noticed it, commentators are like, oh, England have got a really tough choice now. You know, is it Lewis Skelly or is it Lewis Hall? And it's like, hang on a minute, Lewis Skelly's been on the scene for about 5 minutes. Can we calm down a little bit? Just a touch. I mean, the lad's playing well, not denying it, but you know, Lewis Hall now he's been in that first team scene. He was in the first team scene at Chelsea before he joined Newcastle. That's where everyone noticed him. Lewis Skelly is literally, I don't even know how many appearances Lewis Skelly's made for Arsenal. Looks a talent, looks a good lad, but I think they're jumping a gun just a tad. But that's just my opinion. So whoever started this, I love it. Jimmy, what? Dubravka, one more year.
I started that one. 360. I did start that one, and no. There is no 180 here. I have not changed my mind. Martin Dubravka, fair play. You've come in, you've done fantastically well, but go out in a blaze of glory. Go win us the cup, and then move on, and we rebuild. I think that's everyone's mindset. We need a new number one. That's as simple as that. Like Dubravka's 36. We don't need to be taking him through to another season. But
and he's not going to want to be the number two, is he, Pete? He's just not.
And when you get to that point in your career, when you know you haven't got much time left, you just want to play. And I can understand his frustration. I can understand why he was on the verge of leaving before Pope got injured. But look, ultimately, he's in the team now and he deserves to be number one. He is number one right now. Pope's got it all to do. And Pope needs this. And other players need this in the team as well. Fabian Schär needs this. Alexander Isak needs this moving forward to next season. As good as some of these players are, they need that person on their shoulder to know that they have to work hard to be in this team. However, I wouldn't be any side Martin Dubravka. I'd be letting him go on to Saudi and earn a bag of money for the next 2 years of his career, so he can retire and look after his family, and fair play to him. He's earned the right to do that. And we need to move on and buy a new goalkeeper. And from what Mark Douglas has put out this week that we've all been talking about, and I'm sure we'll maybe have a conversation about that on a show this week, there's no reason why we can't go out and get a good goalkeeper.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, squad games shall be interesting. I think we might even do it live from the club shop with all the jerseys and in April. Maybe you never know. We'll see if they've improved the signal in around the St. James Park. Probably not. Good.
On to just as we end on Martin Dubravka there. Just to say, I mean, I'm open. If PIF are watching, I'm open to a new contract for a year, and then maybe a nice little $5 million fee in the summer. I'm open to it. I'm open
from Saudi,
from the lads in Saudi. Absolutely.
Hey, absolutely. I'm not being funny. If they're gonna offer 90 million euros for Mitoma,
yeah.
I want 15 million for Dubravka. Not euros.
We want 8 million. We want 8 million.
We want 8 million. 8 million with 7 million in add-ons. That's what we need.
Yes.
Achievable add-ons. There we go.
Normally I say half it, lads, but this time I say double it.
Why not? Yeah. I love it. Right. Last question, and this one's from Scott. When is Harvey Barnes back? Is it next week or the week after? Genuinely, boys, I don't know. Do either of you?
Yeah.
Go on, guys.
I thought it was something like, I didn't hear it recently, but I was like going to be the second, third week of February. I thought it was like after the transfer window, he was going to be kind of back. That's when he got injured first. Have you heard that?
The last I heard on Harvey Barnes, because I don't remember him being asked on Barnes, I don't think in the last presser before the Arsenal game. I think the last one was the Fulham game, and Eddie Howe said he was a few weeks away. So that would put him closer to the end of February. So it would be, for me, that would put him more either to Liverpool or to West Ham after that. That was kind of my thinking of him saying a few more weeks. Could mean he'd be back sooner, but what does that mean, Forest? Because there's 2 weeks before Man City, 3 weeks before Forest, maybe Forest then, maybe Forest. If there's 3 weeks there. Yeah, because I keep thinking City's this weekend, and it's not, it's Birmingham in the FA Cup. So yeah, that would be, for 3 weeks would be Forest. So let's say Forest.
Yeah. You know what, boys, we need a bit of music. We haven't played this for a little while. So shout out to Russ, the Radio Shed. Shout out to Russ at the Radiator Shed. You can contact Russ for all your radiator needs at russ@theradiatorshed.com or on 077 666 04112. Where are we going next, boys? Apart from Wembley.
Apart from Wembley. Yeah, I'm just seeing if there's any other comments or any other questions in the chat. I mean, we're done question wise, but I didn't know whether you boys wanted to quickly segue onto something. Are we looking at Birmingham now? I know we only look at the next game.
Well,
Eddie tells us.
Well, before Pete says something, we do have a plan for a show tomorrow, and we're going to cover a number of different topics because there's a few things that have been talked about over the last few days, including the closure of the transfer window. So we'll wrap it all up and put it together, put a little bow on it, and bring a show tomorrow. But Anthony and Pete, you want to touch on now?
No, not really. It's just for me now. I really want to see a level of focus from this team. This win has the ability to really kind of kick us back into gear. You know, we've been a bit out of form, particularly at home. Fulham, Bournemouth. We need our home form. We really do need our home form. We've got some winnable games at home. Forest to come at home. I was going to say Palace was the next home game after that, but that'll be pushed back now because that's the cup final day. So going into March. So that would be our next home game after that. So, you know, the home games that we've got coming up all the way through is I think that'll be that's something that we need to really build on. But we're still at the same mindset now. Like, we're in the cup final. Nobody can take that away from us. That will come when it will come. What I don't want now is players playing within themselves in league games, because and the reason why I say this, boys, is because, and I said it to the 12th man boys in the chat just early, just before we went live, and I said, what I need now from Newcastle United is a big club mentality. I need the rest of us, the fan base, to be a big club mentality. We can't be all honing in on this cup final and putting everything to the side. The fans were amazing tonight at St. James's Park, but we need that at Forest. We need that at Forest more than anything, because Forest are a damn good team and they're having a damn good season. And, you know, they are not going to be easy to beat. So we need that atmosphere against Forest, because we've still got multiple competitions that we're fighting for right now. We're in the cup final of the Carabao Cup. We've got Birmingham away at the weekend, which we're more than capable of going there and winning. We've got Premier League matches that are arguably the biggest set of running fixtures that we're going to have between now and the end of April and May, in terms of tough, really tough fixtures all in a row. You know, Man City away, Forest at home, Liverpool away. They're three really tough fixtures. I need a mindset of focus now from these players to take what they did tonight into those other games, because I genuinely believe if we do that, I'm already seeing Man City fans, and LB's one of them. They're panicking now. LB put a tweet out tonight. He was like, "We've got more chance of beating Real Madrid than we have Newcastle." And I agree with him. I really do. Because if we turn up and play like that at the Etihad, I genuinely think we'll get our first league win in God knows how many years, over a decade. We will get our first win against Man City if we play like that. And that's what I want. I want us to have that same mentality going into that game. We need a refocus. I don't want players holding back, not going into tackles, not playing at the same energy levels because they're worried about getting injured for the cup. What will be, will be. But you're a player for Newcastle United. We've got multiple objectives that we need to achieve. And so I need to see that same quality that we saw tonight in these other games. So that was kind of just something that I just needed to say, because I want to see a big club mentality from us. I don't want to see a little club mentality where we're saving ourselves for the cup final, because that's what we did 2 years ago and we fell flat. And it took us a while to get back into gear again. And we did eventually, and we ended up getting Champions League football. But we're coming from a different position this time. We're coming from a position where Chelsea and Man City are probably ahead of us, just minutely. And we've got Bournemouth breathing down our necks. Okay, we've got Villa that are 4 points behind us, that is more than achievable of catching us up. So we need to be on song in our Premier League matches. So I just want to see what I saw tonight moving forward in the games to come. February is a massive month. If we can get out of February with 6 points, hopefully more, I genuinely think we can attack March and April, which I think we've got more than winnable fixtures in that month, that we can attack them from a Premier League point of view and really nail some points on the board. 8 wins, boys. 8 wins will take us to 20 wins. And 20 wins, in my opinion, will guarantee European football.
I agree. Exactly what you're saying on the attitude now going into the next games, and we know they can put in the performance, and they need to do it in every game, and Eddie needs to manage them as well. And I don't want to see any red cards as well right before the final. I remember that the Pope incident is as well, where he scrambled into what goalkeeper we're going to play in the final. Chris, I think you have some more questions you wanted to bring up.
Yeah, so there's one question, and it's a really, really good question. That's why I wanted to bring it up. But also, there's a little comment, Pete. It was reminiscent. I'm going to bring it up. You hopefully you'll remember. I certainly remember. Ben Holloway, Pete, Chris. I spoke to you guys at Big Shots after the final against Man U, and I said them was just the start. We're back in the final, and this one, it's ours, mate. I remember Ben. I remember speaking to you, mate. So for anyone who doesn't understand what Ben's saying there, so Pete and I were at Wembley for the Carabao Cup final against Man United, and obviously we couldn't get a ticket, which was deeply disappointing, but we needed to be down at Wembley. We needed to soak it all up and be there, and we went to this place called Big Shots, which was like a golf. It was like a golf sports centre, wasn't it?
Yeah,
but it also had a bar.
Mini golf club.
Yeah. And that's where we met Ben, and we booked tickets in there, so we could be back there. Who knows? And
sold out now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, maybe
because you're going.
Yeah. It was a brilliant day. Not far from Wembley, as I say. And yeah, it was great. But yeah, I remember speaking to you, Ben. But yeah, great to have you in the chat, mate. Nice one.
And you're going back. You'll be back at Wembley again. You're sharing a room or a bed or something this time, lads. You're definitely going back to Wembley. Whatever.
The only thing we'll be sharing is hopefully the cup. We'll get our own version. If we win it, we'll get our own version. Yeah. We can do a Darren Eels with the Cellar Cup.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have to do that. I like that. Yeah, we can do that. This was a really, really good question. Here we go. The Clon lads. Liverpool are competing for the league and the Champions League. What are the fixtures before the final for both teams? And that was a really good point, because if we fast forward to March, Liverpool could be in desperate need at the points in the Premier League, because who knows what happens between now and then. I'm hoping Liverpool drop a few games so that they need to really focus on that Premier League. And it's a really good point from the Clon lad. So I thought I'll quickly, while we're talking about it, have a little look at the fixtures on the lead. Have you got it, Pete? Have you got it?
Yeah.
Do it, mate.
Come on, I got it, yeah.
Do it, mate. Oh well, I don't like the game before.
Is it us?
No.
Yeah, it's a remix of the final. But okay, so we've got Man City. In the next Premier League fixture, they've got home to Wolves.
Yeah.
Massive win for them. 22nd of Feb, that weekend, we've got Forest, they've got Man City.
Okay.
So a monstrous Super Sunday there.
Imagine a City win there,
Jesus.
Pete. Imagine a City win. Woo!
Oh,
We've got our own derby there with Wolfie.
Yeah,
absolutely. Then we've got a midweek game against, you guessed it, Anfield, Liverpool. A little cup final potential preview. I find it funny that we're already talking about Liverpool in the cup final, even though they're losing 1-0 on aggregate.
I know.
Spurs have City there as well. We'll throw that in.
Yeah.
That's true. That is true. And then we've got here Saturday, 8th of March. Liverpool have got flip it now. We've got Southampton.
That's the one I was moaning about, mate. That's what I was moaning about.
We play on Monday against West Ham. So we play on the Monday, and then it will be on the Sunday here where we play 16th of March on the cup final day. So we won't.
Palace game is moved. So
Palace game will be
moved. Villa.
Yeah,
Liverpool miss out on that Villa game, don't they? So I was a bit disappointed when I saw Liverpool having Southampton the game before, because I can imagine Liverpool may end up resting some players for that game. I certainly would if I was on a slot anyway. But who have they got after our game, Pete?
This is interesting.
Break.
This is weird. This is weird. I don't think they've done
FA
it
Cup.
So it might be the FA Cup. You could well be right. So there might be the FA Cup before the international break, which would still be weird in itself. So that's the weekend of the cup final. Then it goes all the way to Tuesday, the 1st of April. So that's like a good 2-week break. Now we have Brentford, and it's midweek as well. So it's a Tuesday and a Wednesday. Yeah. It must be an FA Cup weekend before that or after it, whichever one it is. I have no idea. But I don't know how they've managed to work this. But after that, we have Brentford at home and Liverpool have Everton at home off the back of that. And then it kicks in after they've got Fulham away. We've got Leicester.
Boys. You're not going to like this.
Go on.
It's bloody international week.
Is it?
Where?
It's bloody international week. So England play on Friday. Yeah. England play on Friday, the 21st of March.
That might be a good thing. With a lot of celebrating to be done after the cup final. So we'll need that.
It's weird that we come back after an international break to a midweek fixture. That's what I don't get. We've never had that before. We normally come back to a weekend game. So we must be coming back potentially to an FA Cup weekend if we're still in it. Like if I hope that we beat Birmingham and we were in the draw again. But if we beat Birmingham and we're in the draw, that must be the weekend before.
The 5th round.
Because that's Tuesday. That's Tuesday the 1st of April and Wednesday the 2nd that our next round of fixtures are when we play Brentford and they have Everton. It's weird. Like it's never been like that before. So we must have an FA Cup game like this side of April, just before.
Hang on, I've got the dates. So the date for the 5th round is the 1st of March, and the quarterfinal of the FA Cup is the 29th of March.
Yeah, so there you go. That's the weekend before that then. So we play Liverpool, and then we play the FA Cup the weekend after. Must be. And then we play West Ham on the Monday, and then there's an international break, and then after that we have the Carabao Cup final, and then after that we have the FA Cup quarter-final if we're in it, and then we play midweek straight after where we play Brentford. That's how it will work. which is weird. So we're coming back after an international break, playing or
FA Cup.
potentially playing a quarterfinals of the FA Cup if we're in it. Wild.
Cool.
Wild.
Boys, I think we're going to bring it to a close.
Yeah.
And just a reminder to everyone to smash that like button on the way out as well. And yes, thanks for watching. And subscribe if you're new too. So just a few little notes to mention as well. Arsenal, you're not, and Arteta, you're not getting the Carabao Cup. Arteta, new balls, please. And Arteta, you're not getting this, man. Good night, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Yes, sir.